Am I live? Yes, I am live. Sorry about that. I updated my streaming software, so I need to get used to this. But yeah, how's everyone doing, ladies and gentlemen? Pop your mood, your vibe, how you feeling in the chat. I'm back live. Yesterday I went to the Olympico to film. That was nice, getting back there. And that's something which I want to adopt more on this channel. Go there and film some of these updates, even throughout the season. So that's going to be an update. So if you enjoy that, then yeah, there are going to be more videos when it comes to that. But yeah, look, SCAMACCA. SCAMACCA got interviewed and SCAMACCA has declared love to us. SCAMACCA has basically promised himself to us. Those are the real, raw materials of that interview. He wants this move, and it would be a lie to think the opposite. He desperately wants this mood. This move. He just wants it. And if you ask me now, after hearing that interview and listening to it and reading it and looking at the details of that interview, I'm going to say that SCAMACCA is going to become a Roma player. Because after that interview, every person in our internal environment, which maybe had a few doubts about him, after reading that interview, they're gone. Because he's promised himself to this team and he wants this move. And if a player is determined to want to move, then that is the first base of starting a negotiation. So yeah, that's the first thing. The second thing is, look, we'll go through the interview today. And we are also going to speak about SCAMACCA a bit, because he's a Roma boy. He wants us, so we're going to speak about the move in general. But before we do that, quite a lot of you in. Kit, rocking the kit, smash the like button, and let's get into this interview. Because as I just said, I woke up today, listened to this, I actually read this, not listened to it. But it really puts to mind that he is putting us above everything. Unlike Frattesi, because we thought Frattesi was going to do the same, but Frattesi never publicly said he was going to do the same. This time, he publicly said that he wants us above everything. And that is different. Because if the media says it, and the player doesn't say it, it's one thing. But if the player admits it, that is a completely different version of this telenovela. So, first question which he got asked is, do you miss Italy? And he said, I've always had it, and I've always have it. If you're Italian and you don't live and play in Italy, you always have a little, you always miss Italy a bit. But if I were to return to the Serie A, it wouldn't be because I failed in England, which isn't the case. Simply because it would be an unmissable opportunity. No, it wouldn't even be a step backwards for my career. Our league remains one of the best leagues in the world. Now, I'm going to just say something here because it has to be said. Because there is this nowadays there's this I would say pretext. It's not even a pretext. It's more of like a cliche. And it might be a real cliche, but it isn't necessarily a real cliche. Nowadays, there is this cliche that the English league is the best league in the world. And that is the case. The Premier League is the best league out there. But that does not mean that every single player is suited for that league. And this is exactly what SCAMACCA is trying to make the people who doubted him and who continue to doubt him understand. There is a world of football even outside England. I tried an English experience. Because I scored only 8 goals in the Premier League, everybody now goes, I'm a shit player. When that is false. Because football is not the Premier League. There is a world of football even outside of Great Britain. And not every player is suited for the way the Premier League works. And we've seen a lot of examples of this, especially of Italian players. I remember mentioning this once in a live watch-along. There aren't many Italian players which succeeded in the Premier League. That's not because SCAMACCA's weak or SCAMACCA's terrible. That's because it's not a natural case. It's not a once in a lifetime case. It's because Italian players are born in a system of football which doesn't benefit them playing in the league, in the English league. And apart from Zola, you just can't name another Italian player who succeeded in the Premier League. You just can't. Yes, people will say Jorginho. When I mean succeeded in the Premier League, I mean winning. I don't know, he won everything with Chelsea, and that is another exception. But overall, there aren't many Italian players who succeeded in that league. It is normal for an Italian player to fail and not go as well as planned in the Premier League. It is completely normal. If I were a football player and I would go to the Premier League, most probably I would fail. Because I was grown and I was made the player I was in a system of football which is uncomparable to the system of football of the Premier League. And that's something which we have to get. The fact that he did really well in the Serie A and he did less well in the Premier League does not mean that he's a terrible player and that going back to the Italian league would be a step back in his career. It's wrong to think that. Another thing which he has said and admitted, which is kind of something which he revealed because nobody knew, is that he said that he played the entire season with a broken meniscus. Now, he scored, so basically what he's telling us is that he scored 8 goals in a league, in a competitive league like the Premier League, with a broken meniscus. If you don't call that talent, then I don't know what talent is. Yes, 8 goals aren't much, but he scored 8 goals for West Ham. Number 1, he wasn't the first striker. Number 2, the manager hates him, doesn't rate him. Moyes doesn't rate him. And third, he's just said he played the entire season with a broken meniscus. And I'm even surprised he was playing games with a broken meniscus. So if it is true that he scored 8 goals with West Ham with a broken meniscus, that is pure talent, because that's not something which everybody does. So again, and this is, I got criticized a lot by some of you guys since a few weeks ago when I said that SCAMACCA, I want SCAMACCA. I got criticized because people base their judgments on just one season. SCAMACCA is going to be a gamble. It is going to be a gamble. He is not an experienced striker. He is going to be a gamble for this team. It's going to be a gamble which it is either going to be terrible or is either going to be incredible. But it is a gamble, and it would be a lie for me to say that this is not a gamble. Because look, the big difference between SCAMACCA and Morata is very simple. One is a gamble, the other is not. Morata's not a gamble. Because buying Morata, who's 31 years old, you know the player who you're going to get. Because he's the player who's done it in basically every league in the world. He's done it in the Italian league. He's done it in the Spanish league. He's done it in the Premier League with Chelsea a few years back. He's done it in the Champions League. He knows how to play football, and he can't change the way he plays football because he's 31 years old. So that isn't a gamble. Buying Morata means that you know what you're going to get. Buying SCAMACCA is different because he is young in compared to Morata, and therefore he's a gamble. Could go completely wrong, could go completely right. However, if it goes completely right, we have a young player which we can keep for a very long time. And that's the beauty of this deal. It's a risk, because life is a risk. You got to take risks in life. You got to take gambles in life. You got to place £2 on Roma winning the Champions League once in your lifetime. You got to do it, because yes, most probably it's not going to happen. What happens if it does happen? You become a multi-billionaire. So you got to take gambles in life. You got to take risks in life. And seeing our financial situation, we are in a perfect position to take a gamble. We need to take a gamble. So, again, anyways, let's go on. Second question. This summer, you're at the center of the transfer window. Would you like more to challenge your friend Frattesi in Inter Milan derby, or an Inter-Juventus derby, or would you rather play in a Rome derby? This is a good question, This is a good question because he's great friends with Frattesi. Milan obviously linked with SCAMACCA as well. So the question was, would you rather play the Milan derby with Milan, or would you rather play the Rome derby with Roma? And he said, I've always thought and processed my emotions with my heart, and I will continue to do so in the future too. And you know what the two colours of my heart are. But now I'm a West Ham player, and despite all of these rumours, I feel good here too. I know this is why, deep down, this is the main reason of why we need to get him. Because he wants to be there. And in a world of football, in a world of transfer windows where players tend to focus more on money, because big teams come knocking on your door, presenting insane salaries, insane wages, insane financial sacrifices. It's hard to follow your dream and your passions, because there's always that temptation of, oh, I need that money. And that money is just so fruitful to me. And he has said, look, I know I'm at the centre of the transfer window here. I know Milan want me. I know, what's it called? The other team. Juventus want me. I know that all of these teams want me. And I know that both Juventus and Milan are most probably going to give more money to me than what Roma would do. But, however, I understand what Roma is living in terms of finances. I understand what my heart is calling for. I understand where my roots are, and I'm going to follow my dream. And that is something which, in the few cases which it does happen, a player who would rather follow passion rather than money, that is where we gotta buy him. If he's a shit player or he's an incredible player, that is where we have to buy him. Because if a player puts passion more than money in 2023, it's rare. And the few occasions where it does happen, we gotta be quick. And this is exactly why I can announce that in these last hours after this interview, Thiago Pinto is ready to hire his offer for West Ham to try and convince them. Is it a case? Is it a casualty that Thiago Pinto and the Fredkins have decided to do this after he's released this interview? I don't think it is. So yeah, we are going to push a bit more. From what I'm reading, the big block between us and West Ham right now is that right now we tend to just offer a loan with an option to buy back. West Ham would like a loan with an obligation to buy back. Now that obligation can be linked to us qualifying for the Champions League. That obligation can be linked to how many appearances he has. But West Ham obviously need to monetize because they've paid quite a lot of money from him. So they're not just gonna give him on loan and then come back at the end of the season, because they want to make the money. And they're having a great summer window because they just nicked 100 million from Declan Rice. So the more money they get, the more money they can, reshape their team for. And it's a team which, yes, won the Conference League, GG to them, but they're a team which in the Premier League last season was poor. So they need to reshape a few things, buy some better players. So obviously, it's not gonna be easy. But the main reason of why I think this deal will be completed is because he is going to be the reason this deal will be completed. He's gonna push for this one. He's going to be the reason why Roma and West Ham are going to accelerate the deal, because he is going to say, please let me do this. Let me go back home. Let me follow my dreams. And that's effectively what this interview which he released said. Which, look, I think it's a studied interview as well. It could be made to accelerate a few things. And I think this is a smart interview. And then the last question is, if you think about Roma and Mourinho, what do you think? Roma is home for me, and Totti was my idol as a child. And what player in the world wouldn't dream of being coached by Jose Mourinho? I am convinced that Mourinho would stimulate me, and with him I would improve even more. Look, to sum this up, this has been the perfect interview for a player which needs a transfer move. It's just like, I haven't experienced this, but I've been told I'm still at school next year. This year, which is coming, is going to be my last year at school. Then I'm off to uni. And from what I've been told, the better things you write about yourself, the more chances No, again, let me rephrase this. The better things you write about yourself, and the more real things you write about yourself, the more likely it is for a greater university to pick you. And this is effectively what this interview is for. He used this interview because he's trying to push West Ham to sell him. And he is trying to push Pinto and the Fredkins to prepare that good offer because he wants us. So it's kind of, it is an interview. It's going on the newspapers. People are going to buy it. People are going to read it. Good. Nice. I'm going to throw the newspaper away. Nice. Okay. We've made the news of the day with this interview. But it's more than just that. It's like, do something. I've said this now. Now it's your turn to do something. I'm kind of helping you here. I'm helping you, Pinto. Go on. Start flying. Do something. It's kind of like that. It's a collaboration, I would call it. Which obviously I think it again, he said real things because he's from this city. He knows this team. He knows this environment. These aren't things which he's made up. Because if he was to make up a few things, then he would have said, "Oh, I would rather go to Milan because they would give me more money." This is a real interview. You can tell that he wants us. And you can tell that, in a sense, we want him. Find that agreement, get him in soon. We can't be wasting too much time. We need him ASAP because we need a striker. After getting SCAMACCA on loan with an obligation, no obligation, whatever Roma and West Ham will agree on, after we get SCAMACCA, we need another striker. It's not done. We need another striker. Yes, after SCAMACCA, we should get back prioritizing the holding mid. But after we get a holding mid, we need to go back to the striker because we need 3 strikers this season. We cannot start a season with SCAMACCA and Belotti. Not because I don't rate them and I don't believe in them. I rate both of them, if you ask me. And I would give Belotti another chance because you need to give players 2 years after judging him after a transfer move. But we need a 3rd striker because of squad depth, and we've seen it this season. We need it in case of injury crisis. We just need a 3rd striker. Whoever that 3rd striker will be, could be player X, could be player Y. I couldn't give a damn. We just need him, to use him as rotations. Because again, we've got a big season ahead of us. We need to get Champions League. We need to get top 4. We need to go well in Coppa Italia because of the Derby situation and because it's an added trophy. And we need to go well in Europa League because we've left our last Europa League with a big, I'm not going to call it disappointment because I was very proud and nobody would have said that we reached the final. But we've kind of left that Europa League final with a continuation to be continued. And we will definitely want to seek revenge. So we need to compete on 3 fronts. 3 fronts, 3 strikers. That's the sum up of everything. Right, let me read a few comments and then I'll end the stream. People are loving the kit. That's it. Bob it behind. You know what the best thing about this kit is? It's the colors. Now, I'm not sure if it's just the camera which is picking up these colors so well. But these colors are so bright. I mean, I'm looking at here. They are very bright colors. Especially those stripes. Maybe it's just the camera, but look at that wolf. Like, that's golden. Look at it shining. And the name as well. I chose Bove because, again, as I've said many times, I love Bove. And I feel like, son of Rome. SCAMACCA will be a big success at Roma, I know it. Love the positivity. I want Morata, says Amir Ba. That kit. Gonna be in Rome for the first game of the season. Hopefully I see you. I'm not gonna be there, mate. I'm gonna miss the first game of the season. It's the game I'm gonna miss. Because I'm out with my family on holiday. Because, my parents, it's like they have a few weeks in August. So I'm gonna miss that game. But I'll be back. My season at the Olimpico starts with Milan. What a start. Seymour sponsor is gonna be put on the front of the New Jersey. I have no idea. Could be Toyota, could be SPQR, even though it's not a sponsor. Could be like this. I would love to keep it like this. You know the problem is now, if Bove changes number, I am screwed. If Bove changes his number, I am totally effed. Because, yeah, it would literally make no sense. So I pray, as much as I want Bove to get the number 16, don't do it this year. Because otherwise, you've screwed me up. SCAMACCA is the man. I love his desire for us, and he truly has quality. He will be such a good striker for us, says Eddie. Can you show us that beauty of a shirt again? SCAMACCA didn't even get a chance. Even Antonio, who starts ahead of him, says he just didn't fit Moses' playstyle. Thoughts on Al Hilal offering 120 million for 4 years for Zaniolo? You think he would take it? We will get 40 million if he goes. I hope for him he doesn't take that, but seeing him and, you know, knowing him well and knowing his attitude well, I wouldn't be surprised if he takes that. But don't do it, because he's 22 years old. I mean, please don't go there, even though I don't care. We need a striker, but improving the midfield to create more goal is more important. If midfielder is correct, many players will score. A striker alone won't help if he has no service. I agree, but we do need a striker, so we need to buy a striker too. Great shout out to Zola, one of my favorite non-Roma players of all time, and I even argued with Saki during the '94 World Cup. I met him in the eve of the Italy-Nigeria game about playing Zola. Win to win Coppa Italia, because if Inter win, they will have more than us. Good point. Saucy Kit. Loan SCAMACCA and sell Ibanez for the pool. I would agree with you. If Bove changes number, it's good. It means you are an OG supporter. Yeah, mate, but this kit was not cheap. It was like 120. 100 for the kit, plus 20 euros for the name. So I would love for him, and you know, again, I would love for Bove to get the number 16 because it's just his personality. But don't do it this year, please. I mean, maybe they could even kind of, maybe like re-give me the money and give me a new kit. I don't know, but yeah. Who should I get on the back of my kit? Stuck between Dybala, Bove, Mancini and Pellegrini. I think it depends on who you are. Because if you're original, you will never get Dybala. I mean, look, I'm being controversial here because I got Dybala last year. But yeah. I mean, it depends on who you are. I think it depends on age as well. It depends on age because, again, sorry if I'm dragging this live stream. I'm going to end it soon, but I don't know why, but I'm a person who visualizes many. So I think it depends on age, because I would never, ever say to a man, get a Bove kit. Because it just doesn't make sense. Maybe I'm weird, but for a 50-year-old man to get Bove on the back of their kit, to me makes no sense. If you're a calm guy, generous guy, very kind, very like heart. Yeah, you would never get Mancini. You see what I mean? I hope you do. Depends on your age. If you're like me, I think I would go with Bove. If you like classics, go with Dybala. If you like honor, go with Pellegrini. If you like go with Mancini. Anyways, I'm gonna end it here because I look like a psycho saying these things. I'm going to catch you tomorrow. If you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Hi mate, I think we need a bad guy as a striker. That's why I wouldn't go with Morata or SCAMACCA. What do you think? I think SCAMACCA is a bad guy. Definitely more than Morata. The fact that he's got all the tattoos around his head definitely means he's a bad guy. I mean, no. But he's got a tough attitude. So yeah. Anyways, I really don't know what I'm saying. These last 5 minutes have been over the moon. I just have spat random things out of my mouth, minute in and minute out. I'm going to end it here because it really is degenerating. Gonna catch you tomorrow. As I said before, click all of the things below. It supports this channel and community a lot. And I'll catch you very, very soon. See you all out.